head into our Splatoon matchup here. And again, it's grands, okay? So it's not going to be a one and done, okay? We're going to have at least more than one opportunity for either team to try and make their claim on the championship.
Yeah, flexing on us with a 10 rare going out there. Rare Pokemon cards out there. Obviously, you gotta have comfort animals there as we see Aubrey go against SciTech. Now, obviously, we saw Science Academy really sweep when it comes to rewards in the FTC world. Really, they're going to do some damage when you see over here, you got Smash on the other wall as well. So SciTech, one of the more acumen esports communities. We know that they have plenty of players. We're going to see what they can do in the Splat world. But then we also have Aubrey University going on and showing what they're about, as well as we get ourselves into the action. We're going to Hammerhead Bridge right here, a turf war in Splat.
Which is the best kind of war. I mean, I'm all down for a turf war. That's where it all started. You know, this is my side, that's your side. Come and take it, you're going to get got. Now I'm going to come and get yours.
You cross it, you're going to get dumped, okay? Or maybe you're going to get a bucket of paint dropped on top of your head. You have no idea, but I really love Hammerhead Bridge. One thing about it is in turf war, very narrow map, right? So in terms of backside understanding and owning your turf, you're going to have a lot of that control back there. It's the middle where it can get a lot big contentious. There will be a lot of players in close quarters trying to make sure to take as much turf as possible, but in a narrow straight as well.
Well, as they have a completely kitted team, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is looking like a 4v4 format. Again, there's going to be a lot of teamwork involved here. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of team play. I think the most that we have gotten to see so far was yesterday during Marvel Rivals. Again, that is a 6v6 format, but ever since then, ever since Marvel Rivals, it's been the 3v3 and then just 1v1 straight hands throughout until now. We are back into team play with Splatoon. So again, communication is going to be key. Again, execution is going to be key, and I'm pretty sure that this game has no small amount of rotations. So again, there's going to be a little bit more nuance going here, because again, like, you know, fighting in 1v1s with fighting games, you know, you're only accountable for one player. There's only one player you have to worry about, and that's your opponent. Whereas when you're going into team battles, you have got to work as a unit. There's a lot more collaboration involved here.
And you know what? I expect to see a lot of rollers, right? In close quarters, that means the rollers come to play, right? That's basically almost the equivalent of, I guess, a shoddy, a really close range type weapons. You have buckets as well that really do that damage in close range, but we might see a little bit of those chargers. That's basically what you see with sniper rifles. Far and away, big damage and big range as we load on in. Again, a narrow map right here. That means close quarters in some regards, but that also means far in others. Dualies is another thing, and we talk about it. You see a roller right here. What I really love about rollers is you can get it inside, right? Obviously, it's very good, and I feel like at getting a lot of turf and controlling a lot of turf, which is very good. Oh, we're having some DC issues.
No, not that. The passcode was 6767.
Oh,
my goodness. I was about to say that was definitely one of the students had to come up with that passcode.
You are not entertained, Captain Axoka? Come on, 6-7 crowd, come on.
Oh, come on. No, come on, indeed. Come on. Oh, there it is. There's the crowd already.
There you go.
All right. You see, I'm too old for that. All right, I'm too. That is definitely past that. Again, I'm beyond that. But here we go. Let's get it going. All the 6-7s for the crowd as they do enjoy the memes. Do it for the memes, if anything.
Do it for the memes, and I really like this tool outfit right here. I see some Gatling gun action, so that'll be cool. Actually, no rollers, so we're going back to it, but I do see some paintbrushes, which is very good for the coverage. Early coverage right here that you see. Obviously, you want to make sure that home base and turf is covered very well, so that's what's happening right now as we approach things right now. It's looking like either team, whether it be the pink team or whether it be the green team, is really covering home base as they're getting closer to each other with a really fun battle to start to pop off.
Yep, and we got Science Tech on the green side and Aubrey on the pink. As you can see, we're already well underway. You got to look at the coverage here. It's very important, at least from what I can tell, to get your home turf covered first and then start going after your opponents. It's really just going to be a mean tug of war here in the midfield, but you can already see a lot of progress being made. Again, trying to avoid the danger. Again, a lot of pop and go that I'm seeing so far is they already secured 3 eliminations on the side of Aubrey. They are starting things off strong.
Aubrey's been doing some damage down low, but one thing about SciTech, never count them out. Obviously, coming coming back with a great response in which you're seeing it right there. You're seeing the Gatling gun being used in order to take a lot of control, really holding down the middle right there, and I love that the paint bomb in the middle in order to make sure to take control. Dueling control in the middle, the fight for middle is definitely live and thriving. The SciTech is in danger with the amount of paint that is coming the way of Aubrey.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing the paintbrush go out now. They're able to secure at least one elimination, but then get traded out in the process. As of now, it does look like it looks as though Aubrey getting a lot of work done early, but hold the phone. Out comes a SciTech now looking for the retake.
Yeah, splatter shot doing some damage right there that you like to see. So far, so good for SciTech. Responding to the danger zone area that they are in. Good job right there, trying to get control. 1 more minute left. This is where things get quite contentious. SciTech doing a great job coming back, but it looks like Aubrey might just go ahead and take control with this right here.
This just reminds me of like a 4v4 Jeff the Land Shark match.
Yeah,
if I were to be honest.
Basically. That's exactly what it feels like with Splatoon. Obviously, you get a little bit more speed and momentum when you're down there in the paint and you can recharge, basically reload your weapon. You're seeing the crossbow putting some work right here. Unfortunately for Sci Academy, it's looking like Aubrey's taking firm control. You see the bomb right there, taking control of the center. They want more, unfortunately, backing up right there. So smart strategy couldn't get behind them because SciTech holds down the flank to make sure that they didn't get caught there.
SciTech in the danger now as they run out of time. Only 10 seconds remaining. Aubrey looking pretty strong moving forward. Moving even further still inside of SciTech territory. Only a few seconds left remaining to try and salvage a little bit more. But no, it looks like Aubrey is going to be able to come through here. Or SciTech. It was hard to tell. There's a lot of pain. SciTech is.
We got our wires a little bit crossed and a little bit flipped. Thank you so much.
Somebody told me SciTech was green.
Yes. We got our wires a little bit crossed, but it's okay in the game's production. SciTech was the one that went ahead and did damage and did control. Look at that. SciTech's such a great esports program.
Which makes sense because their colors are green.
Yeah, right? You would think that the colors were green, that they would be having the green paint, but no, absolutely tricked us a little bit right there. Either way, though, SciTech take firm control of the middle of the map, as I talked about it. That is a map in which the middle is where all of the damage does. If you have control of the middle, you basically win. That's what happened. Great bomb control, good utility control in order to make sure you can lock it down, and that's why SciTech goes ahead and gets the victory. Go ahead and flex off that Pokemon card. I see that. That's rare.
Honestly, I would flex just for having the Pokemon card. I wouldn't even have to be on stage. I wouldn't have to be an esports player. I would just be flexing the card.
I mean, honestly, it's so hard to get some elite pulls, and honestly, it's hard to get Pokemon cards at all those decks, so I would go ahead and, flaunt it if I had it. But great job right there. I think it was great, as I talked about, utility controls, the Splatlings were taking damage and doing a lot of great things in the middle as well. But we'll see if we'll go to a more wide open map. I feel like that's where we'll have a little bit more snipers. That's where we'll have a little bit more control. Maybe Aubrey doesn't do well in close quarters and high reaction time map control, right? But maybe they'll be better when they have a little bit more space to play. So depends on what the pull of a map will be coming up in the next set of games.
Yeah, and I really appreciated all the different types of utility they had, the different choices of weaponry. Again, I got to see a crossbow come out there. That was very interesting. The paintbrush was putting in a lot of work. I mean, again, a lot of field coverage there, and not to mention if you get hit by the paintbrush, I was able to see a couple of eliminations coming through there. Again, in the Gatling gun, you had mentioned the Gatling gun earlier. That was actually coming through in a major way, especially in that midfield position. So very interesting, to say the least, for a game number 1.
Absolutely. Paintbrush very good in close quarters as well, but also for getting in that beginning stage too, right? Making sure that you can get as much of your own territory as possible. Great for utility. Then we also have the Splatlings. We talked about it, right? The Gatling gun is very good for controlling when you're talking about deterring other people from getting control of the map. We also saw a lot of these paint cannons as well. Try to get some one-shots across the way on these hills. there's a little bit of a dip down low, too, in which we saw a lot of those bombs and utilities. So very interesting strategy right there for SciTech, going ahead and dominating and being basically in control very early on in that game. Aubrey did a great job of coming back, surviving, but they only survived for a couple more seconds as SciTech goes ahead and clears out for our next set of action here. More Splatoon to come. I believe this is the best of 5, right?
I think so. I mean, that first game went pretty quick, so yeah, I would imagine so. Again, SciTech putting on a masterclass there to start things off, and then not to mention they were very mobile. That was one thing I was noticing the entire time. Like it would seem like you could not hold them down. They were constantly moving in and out through the ink and through the paint. They call them inklings, so I think it's ink. So yes, they were moving very quickly throughout the map, and it seemed as though that, you know, applying the damage and being able to really hold them down in a singular place was really the main issue. But again, great heads-up awareness, great reaction time in order to get those rotations, especially off of eliminations.
Yes, yes, yes. And as I said, I'll be interested to see as we go to different maps here. There are maps in which there's plenty more area to control. Turf. One thing about that map that we went to, that bridge, unfortunately, very narrow, but wide area maps in which flanks are available can actually work to Aubrey's advantage. We saw that in which SciTech, it looks like they could have been backdoored a little bit. They made sure to keep their eyes abreast, but that's one thing. It's one thing to keep control or to look at your opponent when it is a small, single way territory, but when you have obviously like 3 points in order to look at, right, in the turf war, it can be really difficult to manage all of the different points in which an enemy might be able to attack, backdoor you, and then to take advantage. And honestly, because of the respawn points taking so long in Splatoon, you can get some really good boundary getting right there and ink up that territory very quickly.
Yeah, and honestly, right now, I think the big contention, at least for me, you know, being new to Splatoon entirely, if you couldn't tell, spoiler alert, but honestly, like the decision-making going into the game, whether or not you're going to focus on your opponent, trying to go for eliminations, or just to focus on, you know, getting as much territory as possible, you know, in the turf war. So that, to me, would be a hard decision for me to try and balance between getting eliminations and getting territory.
Yes, as we see, more paintbrushes to come, some stairs as well in the territory, but of course we're going with that good old Nintendo classic gun as well. So as we go in, dualies personally were my favorite. No dualies at least yet to the filter, but of course there's more to come. This is a wider territory map in which I talked about. Obviously more things can go your way if you're SciTech, if you're really good at controlling it. And right now SciTech doing damage here early. The lead going their way, taking control.
And now, right now, you can see a little big back and forth, but an early pick definitely going one way here. And that's going to leave a lot of territory unguarded, so that way they can take control.
Right now, some great damage. One thing I love about the paintbrush is that you can go damage and you can also get a lot of territory as well. But great response right there. Hiding in the rafters. There's certain techs that you can use in order to make sure opponents can't hear you. Great dodging and diving right there from King Cat to get away as a strong push is being made right now for Aubrey.
Yeah, now you can see big ink going all over right now. But it looks like Aubrey making a little bit of a comeback here. Although SciTech does have the lead and trying to hold on to it for the longevity there. But I am seeing a little bit of a recuperation coming from the side of Aubrey.
Yes, flatlining gun doing some damage right here, but great job by SciTech to go ahead and try to get the flank. That's what it looks like they're trying to get. They're out of dodge, but look at that, getting King Cat hiding in the rafters. That's one thing I love about the ability to hide in the paint, to just be there unsuspected, unwittingly there, then take damage. Great damage being done right there with the paintbrush. Unfortunately, though, SciTech is able to just take other control despite the trickery that's happening right here from Aubrey.
Yeah, this is a real big commanding lead is rather close for the most part, but again, SciTech has just been so good at being able to really control the map there and control their presence and being able to kind of like divide and conquer their opposition. But now here comes the big squid, as that is going to get the much needed coverage on the side of Aubrey.
Yes, and then here you go. One of the leaders, Rainmaker, as it goes down. Big bomb going out. That's when the specials, that's when the ultimates pop off right there. Tons of chaos, and that's going the advantage of SciTech, really taking control with their abilities. And you see right here pop off with bunches.
Running out of time now. Just over 2 minutes for Aubrey to try and make this comeback here, this tug of war, as that Gatling gun is going to be laying down a good bit of coverage here. But and then this is what I was mentioning earlier, the contention. Do you try and play for the limbs, or do you try and be sneaky and go behind enemy lines and start capturing and laying down the aim of some enemy territory?
And you know what? I like the switch here to go to the Gatling gun. There really is a lot more room for error, especially with the way that these players are hiding and ducking. I understand why you would go initially with the Nintendo Zapper. The Zapper makes sense, but the Zapper, I feel like, doesn't get enough paint spread, especially with the way that these players are ducking and dodging. But a great job, a great push by Aubrey right there. It looks like they're trying to take control.
Yeah, that they are, but the question is it too little too late? Is the lead too big to overcome? And right now, I mean, if you can clearly see SciTech putting on a lot of ground control. Again, they're utilizing the high ground. That's the one thing that I've noticed is that we've seen Aubrey try and catch some of these players sneaking to the high ground and really taking advantage of again that height and being able to shoot them up on high and bring down in.
Aubrey cracked right now. Whoever has a paintbrush is going in crazy, coming in with the squid, getting things done. Kid Cat trying to jump into the action immediately, but the paintbrush, one of the reasons why I love that, because great in close range. You want to get in the nitty gritty, but it's also great at coverage. So great job by utilizing it. They've been really scary for Aubrey.
Just over 30 seconds remaining. Big eliminations in the favor of Aubrey. They might be able to take it. That might just do it. That team wipe might be what they need in order to get the dub. Just over 20 seconds remaining.
Oh, that hammer's a great utility. Great bomb right there to do some damage. As we're seeing Aubrey take the lead at the last second. Science Academy looked like they had control, but big utility at the last second. The hammer, the bomb coming through. 5, 4, 3, 2. They have the lead and they hold on. No, it's going overtime.
Oh, here we go. We have reached extra time here. OT, it is not over yet. Hold the phone. SciTech trying to make a last-ditch effort here as they manage to get the respawns. They recoup, and now they are not going down without a fight.
Big cannons, big clears, coming back. They're trying to get the lead. Get the set, and Max Man Aubrey clutched it up at the end despite the big utilities at the end by SciTech.
And what a match. This is not going to be a one-sided venture. We are going to go back-to-back. Aubrey gets their first win on the board, and now we have ourselves a tie game.
Tie game, and I really want to, it's the hammer that came through. They laid the people's hammer right there at the end. It looked like SciTech was going to hold on, and they did a great job, but again, it's the well-timed utilities, right? Making sure that you have the paint bombs, making sure that you have the paint hammers as well. Came through clutch at the end, and it's great that they did that because it looked like they could have been in the danger zone. They went to overtime. SciTech had an ability of their own, squashed it. Great job holding on to make this a tie.
And I got to tell you, my favorite weapons are the paintbrush and the paint roller because they're the only two that I recognize. Again, I'm like I said, I'm new to Splatoon, but I do know I have worked in many houses and have painted many walls. And the paintbrush and the paint roller were the most effective. Now, will a paint bomb be effective in a house? Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't recommend it. You might make your, you might make your customer displeased.
Yeah,
but
honestly.
The paint bubble did work in SpongeBob.
It did work in SpongeBob. That's what I was going to say. The paint bubble came through, did get one drop on the special $1 millionth, but it's okay. I'm sure you can look it off and it will be fine. Either way, though, there is another item that I know that you know for sure. They have the Retro Zapper, the Nintendo Retro Zapper. Oh,
wait, Retro Zapper?
From the NES?
Oh, you're talking about like Duck Hunt?
Yeah, with Duck Hunt.
Yeah,
yes, that's one of the
do
classics. One of the best weapons that they have there so far, especially for sure shot.
I was there when it came out. I was there 3,000 years ago.
3,000, many years before, honestly, before many of these students were alive. That Zapper came out. Now we're seeing it come full circle right here.
Yeah, I had hair when it released.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I do remember, and I remember my hair in both the Zapper quite fondly, as well as the NES, the SNES, and everything in between, putting on for their team. Gotta love the fans for Aubrey out here, as well as for SciTech. Again, the crowd has been great all day.
The crowd has been great all day. You know, SciTech is so blessed to have so many different teams, especially today, show up. One thing I love about SciTech is that they always have a big crowd and always support each other, but then you have Aubrey coming through as well. And I didn't forget about you, Aubrey. We have a whole collection of Aubrey players and Aubrey teammates repping as well. Go ahead, Aubrey, show them out. It ain't just SciTech, it's y'all too. Come on. Yeah, flex with the chain. Come on. I see you, gang. I see you.
And still working here in set number one. All even, all fair, and all square. The next one to take the win will get the first win in this BO5. Still much Splatoon left to play. So my question is what is the strategy going forward? Again, we've seen a real back and forth. We've seen the give and go. Are we going to be focusing on the Olymps? Because so far the biggest advantages being taken have come from the team wipes.
Well, I've seen it from special weapons. It's been the special weapons that have come through at the clutch moments.
Is that a special weapon, the squid?
The squid is a Kraken. Unleash the Kraken. The Kraken came through and really did some damage right there, but you also have the bombs to control the area in between as well. So well-timed bombs in order to control initially, but it's really at the end where you see things like the hammer, you see things like the Kraken come through in order to make sure that you don't just, you know, own and take initial control, but then you keep control at the end, and you're seeing it right there, whether it be team wipes right there at the end with the hammer, or you're seeing things like that special cannon come through as well. There are plenty of different special weapons that you get, ultimates that you get towards the end of the game if you're really on a roll, and that's exactly what they did, held onto it in order to make sure that big things can come. I'm also a big fan of the bubbler as well. That's a great area control special ability, special weapon as well.
Yeah, and I really got to give it to Aubrey for the mental fortitude in that last game, because it seemed as though they were fighting an uphill battle for the longevity of that last match, and they were able to just come together and just get that team wipe, and then all of a sudden, within the last remaining 30 seconds, for what felt like an entirety of that last match, all of a sudden shifted in a short matter of seconds. But here we are now, going into game number 3, what could be the last round here in set number 1, as we have 5 minutes now counting down. We are underway.
Yeah, this is a very interesting map, right? Not only is it narrow just like the bridge, but also there are a lot more pathways for you to be a little bit cheeky, right? And it seems like Science Academy was able to utilize the flank early on to take control of the first game. Maybe they're a little bit better at this map, not only because it's narrow, but also too, you can be a little bit more cheeky there as we're seeing some bombs and utilities establish some position early on in this matchup. Plenty more to come though, as we're only just getting started. I want you to pay attention to the paintbrush. Whoever's utilizing this paintbrush right here, booyah, they've been getting it done all this time around, and it looks like they want more. Is it Goliath? Well, guess what? They're a Goliath with the paintbrush.
Yep, there they are. Now you can see the rebuttal coming underway from the green side of things, as they are looking to try and get some picks and eliminations. And now they are in fact control. They're able to come through with the retake.
Retaking, getting control right now, about even when it comes to it. Aubrey doing their thing. Only a Zapper in that paintbrush MPT. Goliath coming through. The Kraken is almost ready to fire off, and there it is. Can they get that extra kill? And then they do. Green Octo out of damage. They're only able to get one, but one is good enough, at least for now.
So far, so good on the purple side of things. I mean, they at least have a 10-point lead at the bare minimum, and they are definitely locking in here, getting the majority of the elimination so far, and that's where I've seen a lot of success come through, is by getting these big team wipes, enforcing those respawns, buying them more and more time to just take more and more ground.
Yeah, we have Make It Rain on the docket, so we'll see if whether or not that comes through right. We have some big booyah bombs coming through as well in the center. Look at that, utilities popping off all over the place. They lost control. Let's see the fight for more. Science Academy, I believe, is the one in the green. They're doing some mean work down in the middle.
Well, here we go. Coming down to the wire now. Only 31 points remaining on the purple side of things as they continue to lay down this cover fire. Again, keeping their distance, doing really good with spreading, not giving away free eliminations. They're definitely making the green side really work to try and get these picks.
Yeah, the tactical cooler coming through well, making sure that they can get some momentum down there in the middle. Paintbrush trying to be a little bit sneaky. We've seen them go ahead and be sneaky in order to get these territories, trying to jump through, call some surprises. Doesn't come through right quite yet, but there you go, the surprise. But it's a big trade right there in the middle. Got splatted with the gas.
Now take a look at this. The points are starting to even out here as it is getting down to the wire now. 38-31. It is getting closer and closer as time continues to tick away. We are past halftime and now only 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes remaining. A lot of things happening. Look at that. Using the splitter very well in order to take territory and take control. As you're seeing Aubrey have another lead. Science Academy looked like they were doing well, but right now it's Aubrey that's doing a great job of holding down the middle. Still 140 left to go. Things can change quick fast and in a hurry, and just like that, it's looking like Science Academy is making a push.
Well, here they go. They come in with the retake. They're able to take back control in their favor. And once again, trying to use these obstacles to avoid the damage. And that's where we've seen a lot of contention, is when you peek out just a little bit too much and you get eliminated and you're forced all the way back to respawn.
Snipe game has been strong right now. Good job for Science Academy, understanding that they could zone them out with the sniper. But you're seeing underneath the Kraken, trying to get more territory with the Kraken. Great utility right there. They were able to take control of center field, and boom, it did result in a trade. And honestly, it seems like every time there's a little bit of momentum going Aubrey's way, Science Academy is able to hold down the fort. The cannon right there. What double play right there. Come on.
Well, and there you have it. It will be the Mean Greens that come through and take the dub for SciTech, as they are now able to secure their second win on the board. And if I'm not mistaken, that is game number 1.
Yeah, great control in the middle. The tactical cooler did a great job of just holding down the fort, right? That's a great constant supply of paint in order to make sure you can hold down an area. And although Aubrey tried to get a little more momentum with that unleashing of the Kraken, Goliath did a great job of holding it down with the paintbrush. At the end of the day, SciTech was able to control the turf war, and that will be the first game of our best of 5 series.
Best of 5 indeed. Still plenty much more Splatoon to go, but I gotta tell you, if that was game number 1, this is gonna be a close match. I mean, we're gonna be in here going back and forth, because again, it looked for the longevity of that last match, it looked as though Aubrey was very much in control.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, SciTech was able to recruit, they were able to rally, and then they were able to take control. And the clock didn't even run out. They still had time on the clock, but they were just able to take more of that territory.
Yeah, and as we approach and see these highlights, as you talked about, it looked like Aubrey was doing its damage. I really want to shout out Goliath. They did a great job sneaking and geeking when it came to the paintbrush. You also have this Gatling gun going ahead, Tuna, Big Tuna, doing their damage. The Kraken was a really good paint controller and a really good setting that territory, right? I feel like the Kraken allowed them to get and approach the middle, but really Science Academy, that in spite of these special weapons, was able to hold down the fort. Again, they were able to take control with their special weapons, and it came through at the end. You want to make sure that you hold on to the tactical cooler, because as we talked about, that's another thing that you have to just make sure to constantly supply some of that paint, that even if there is a team wipe, they're there to take control and really take control of not only the center of the map, but effectively the game.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was really curious about. At what point do you start trying to play the clock? Do you start trying to run the clock out? Because, again, in a lot of esports, the clock is a big factor. It's the unspoken extra player in the game because it can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. So, again, as the games continue to go on, we have seen several games be decided simply by the clock running out, but not that last round. SciTech was able to get the job done within the time limit.
In the timing, but honestly, I think Aubrey did a great response, especially in that second game. So we'll see if Aubrey is able to make sure as we approach more games in our Splat series. We'll see if Aubrey is able to bounce back, right? It seems like they did a much better job with more wide open maps where they can take control more often versus the narrower maps went the way of SciTech. We also saw a bit of swap in strategy as well. They went ahead and they used the zone, SciTech did. They zoned them out with the sniper game, right? Obviously, if you have those snipers, it's very good to go ahead and say, hey, you're not approaching our territory. We are holding down the middle. But will this help them? And more maps in which there are more cubby holes for Goliath to go ahead and hide in the paint and maybe get a cheeky hide in the corner, then boo bow, get them with a paintbrush. More questions to be asked as we load on in.
And you see, that was another thing. I really did enjoy watching the paintbrush gameplay because, again, very sneaky, almost kind of like a stealth type of play style. They were able to lurk. They were going around the corners. They were trying to find one person by their lonesome to get the easy pick. The only thing is that whenever you're going with the paintbrush, more often than not, when you find that pick, you get eliminated like immediately afterwards. Absolutely,
especially if you have attentive players in the middle. That's why for the paintbrush, you have to choose your spots, right? It's kind of like a tracer, right? Let's compare it to Overwatch as a tracer, right? Tracer, you want to make sure that when you are getting your picks, you're doing it in cubby holes, you're being destructive, you're being disruptive, and you're finishing the job versus getting the primary damage, right? As you're seeing, not too much of a swap off when it comes to the kits, right? We're going with the Zapper paintbrush. We're getting a little bit of these splitters, some gats as well. So very standard outlook, some blasters as well. As we approach some more paint roll territory, let's see who got the best of it. Again, SciTech up 1.
And here we go, already trying to take control of the clock of the tower as this one is going over towards the side. And then now, you can see on the blue side of things, taking control rather early. As right now the rebuttal coming from the orange side, not going to be on time. It's going to be a little bit delayed here. As you can see, they already suffered 2 eliminations early.
Yeah, Aubrey is in blue for the fans, and also, too, SciTech is with the orange, just in case any of you guys are confused. Holding it down, Goliath decided to go instead with the splitter instead of using this paintbrush. Why? A very big, wide open map. You want to make sure you get a lot of the territory going on these boundaries right here, right? But I see these bombs being used and being effective right there at throwing it at opponents to cover some damage. And just seeing some good activity right here. Dizzy getting splatted out, and there you go, Green Octo as well.
Yeah, big paintbrush elimination there for the side of the blue as they continue to push the payload forward. And look at the time remaining already. Well, not the time, my apologies. Look at the points remaining already. Only 51 there for the blue side of things as they continue to push this objective further and further still. Unfortunately, though, you do see for the blue, they did lose a tower, but now a chance for a small comeback or possibly even a bigger one coming from the side of orange.
Yeah, Super Chump is loading on in for a lot of these players, right? And they're using it in the middle in order to make sure that they can get this territory. Good job by Aubrey taking control of the lead, but as we've seen in the other games, right? Aubrey can take control early, but SciTech, you want to look out for them, especially at the end. It seems like they like to special weapons hold until the end, then pop off their ult and take control at the end. You don't want that to happen if you're Aubrey.
Here we go, moving forward still, nearly approaching halftime. And right now on the blue side of things, they are still very much in the lead, taking control. And now really just kind of taking advantage of the clock because the tower has been at a standstill for what feels like at least a minute now as the half does approach.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're seeing really some great control right here from Aubrey. Again, amazing control in the middle. Unfortunately for Science Academy, I don't feel like they've ever set a tone. Obviously, getting some bombs and getting some jump bombs going is going to be great for them, but it's the best of 5 to win a set. And so far, right now, in complete control is none other than Aubrey. But here's that push that I wanted to see from Science Academy. Looks like they're trying to make it right here.
Continuing to push the issue. I mean, still, when you look at the blue side, I mean, it looks as though they've just been holding on to their lead. And this was kind of the argument that I was bringing in earlier. At what point do you start to take the clock into consideration? When do you start playing the clock? And I guess that time is now, because this tower has been at a standstill now for the last 2 minutes, not really giving one way or the other, but now Orange finally starting to move it forward.
Starting to move it forward, starting to make headway. Let's see if we can get some major damage as we're seeing right there. We reached the checkpoint. 1 minute 30 left to go. Good utility of the bomb. I think that Science Academy is still trying to make headway on their push. That's why we're hearing so much cheer from the crowd right now as they took the tower and they effectively took the lead right there.
I mean, take a look at that. Look how quickly that managed to happen. I mean, the tower is at a standstill for nearly 2 minutes, and just in a matter of seconds, it starts to go the other way. As now you can see Blue starting to kind of recoup here. They do manage to get a pick, which is going to give them a little bit of breathing room, as now they try and send the tower the other way. Less than a minute to go. Is there enough time here, or will Orange be able to eke out with just a 1-point lead?
Time keeps on ticking into the future. We'll see if Science Academy can hold on for dear life. But one thing you want to know about Aubrey is they can come through in the clutch as well. We do have ults on the docket. No more Trizuka is looking like, unfortunately for them. But it's a big lead. It's being held on down for Science Academy. What will be the response for Aubrey? Big Gatling gun activity right here. Bombs all over the place. So far, not looking good right here for Aubrey to take back advantage of this lead.
I mean, this is so dangerous and so close because it's only a 1-point deficit. This really could go either way, especially with OT in play. I mean, only 10 seconds to go here. Yeah. And already Orange able to find a very big elimination. If they can take advantage, they might be able to secure the win with just 1 point ahead.
Wow! The lead being taken at the last second by Aubrey, but we are going to overtime. It could be anyone's game as we're right there in the 50-second mark. It's looking like Science Academy might be holding on for dear life. Science Academy, can they make the big push, or will Aubrey come through? A big elim right there, as it's none other than Aubrey, who's looking like they might close this thing on out.
It's very close, but that spawn time is going to be huge. It's going to be a big delay, and now a team wipe is able to clear the tower, and that will take it. My goodness, wow. What a game coming from SciTech.
Science Academy clutchness all day long. What a play to make sure to take control at the map right there at the end. Science Academy coming through strong. Look at Capcom Man and crew. They're doing the hugs. They're doing the victory circle. Go on down. They are just so happy because they took control of this game.
My goodness, I mean, that literally came down to the wire for the longest. It was, for what felt like eternity, was literally a 1-point deficit. And again, having to go through that constant tug of war and barely turn it out at the very last second, again, that is just true mental fortitude coming from the side of SciTech.
Absolutely huge for them and crew. You can see the elation from Science Academy. It was hard fought. Obviously, Aubrey did a great job. They held on to the lead for most of the turf war, but at the end of the day, the MVP, the key sword on strong. Your winner and grand champion right now is SciTech for Splatoon.
You gotta love the Keyblade. Big Kingdom Hearts fan, by the way. So yes, I definitely appreciate the Keyblade. Again, putting on for Kingdom Hearts, you love to see it.
Absolutely. We are going to the highlights. Obviously, you want to see this overtime clutch win that SciTech went ahead and shirt on up 3 champions from just one team alone here for today. Honestly, the day that SciTech had, it's something out the movies, man.
Oh, yeah, again, it was really getting close there towards the end. And again, got to give a shout out to Aubrey there because, again, they put up one heck of a fight. They were able to take a win on the board and nearly were able to eke out two. We almost went to a whole other game. We almost made it to a game 5. But still, just a fantastic showing from both teams. You could tell they had to coordinate, they had to communicate. I mean, they really came together as a squad here in order to get this dub.
Yeah, man, and I just want to shout out Goliath. Did a great job, and really, too, honestly, there are a lot of other players who, Seven, Tuna, did a great job. You're seeing this cracking game, really taking control of the middle, but it was Science Academy who was able to clutch this out on the end. Great job making sure they have their splatter cannons good. They came through with their utilities and their special abilities right there towards the end, and they were able to take game 1. But hey, this is a long series, okay? And Aubrey was able to come right back and win a game of their own.
Yeah, and then SciTech, what I really like what we saw from them, again, even after they went down a game, it didn't phase them. They just came back correct the next game. They were able to really communicate and then take control. So even though there were times where it looked like they weren't going to come out with the dub, they just were able to really just lock in and steal, not necessarily steal the win away, but it kind of felt like it, especially when you only see a 1-point difference.
Oh, absolutely. It felt like it, right? Especially because if you look at it, it was back and forth, but for the most part, it was controlled entirely by Aubrey. It was right there, that last push at the last second, clutch play on down to do some team clears, some team wipes, throwing it to Zip for.
We are done with Splatoon 3. We had a prolific performance from SciTech themselves. Another dub on the docket. We have our mans come over here. Come on down. All right, all right. How does it feel, brother?
It feels amazing to be back up here, and it feels amazing to win that belt again.
That's awesome. You guys won it last year, too. Oh, that's awesome. The 2-time. So you guys 2-time. You have Capcom, man, that 2-time. You guys at SciTech, man, what is it that they're feeding you guys for lunch?
Strawberry milkshake, what is a hamburger allegedly, and I don't know. Mystery meat, man, and some wings.
Tell us tell us a little bit about y'all's practice. Like, how are you guys so good? How did you get to the point where you could do this?
Honestly, so most of us got our start in Splatoon 2, right? We've been playing. I have 700 hours in that game, and then I think I have 200 hours in Splatoon 3. We honestly try to practice as much as we can. Obviously, it's difficult because we have a high school schedule, but as much as we can, play comms. On our way here, on the bus ride, because 10 hours, right? We were planning our team comms, planning our map, our plans. We had to make sure we knew everything coming into this, and that was basically how we make our plays.
I love that, man. So essentially the answer is you put that work in. That's what it is. That's what it is. So before we go and get your belt real quick, go ahead and show the people what that is and tell them what Pokemon card that is. That thing is fire.
All right. So my best friend Luis, I don't know where he is in the crowd, he got this out of a pack that he pulled, Red Victini. He gave it to me right here because Victini is a victory Pokemon. He wanted me to have this with me at this fight, so I had my best side, I had my best pals, and it reminded me, all these people out here in the stadium, my friends, my family watching back at home, and the people that we have lost, they're all here watching us today, right here, right now, to all of us to try our best.
I love that, brother. That was Chef's Kiss. Squad, come on over. Everybody come on over, grab the belt, and I want the crowd to say it with me on 3. 1, 2, 3, SciTech!
What in a... What an amazing victory that we're seeing from Science Academy. An amazing job by them to go ahead and take control. And I love that, right? Victory that they got. I love the fact that during this tournament, you see the camaraderie, not only from teams, but also for entire programs. Everybody from Science Academy supports and loves on each other, and that's why they're hoisting so many victories here today for Splat.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep real close watch on that belt because I might end up taking it. That thing is grippy. I love that belt so much. It is so cool looking. Also, I mean, they are just completely kitted out. They brought the gear. They got the plushies. They brought the Pokemon card, and now they're walking away with the belt. You can't get much more gear than that. I mean, my goodness. What a team. What a performance. And honestly, what a support group. I mean, the crowd was absolutely wonderful from start to finish. I mean, when you have a support system like that, you know, I mean, it's all you could do really is just show out and put on your best performance.
Hey, we don't have to have a hero shooter on deck to talk about support, right? Because it's really the support that you have interpersonally that is the best support of them all. Science Academy, everybody cares about each other, and that care provides some amazing highlights and an amazing performance for your grand champions here for Splatoon 3. None other than Science Academy. I'm Boardman Board. That's Captain Atsoka. We'll be back for some more TechSep action. See you on the other side.
Esport event has, obviously in between the Zordon Towers that exist here at the Baylor Welcome Center, exists some activations for the students to really get acclimated and enjoy their time here at the TechSep Esports State Championships. To the right of me right here, we have Lobos Gaming having a little bit of a booth, a hangout session for Lobos Gaming, obviously promoting all things happening here. It's not only an opportunity for these students to have fun with their peers, but then to also get in contact with these colleges. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but talking about hangout, look to the left of me right here, Baylor University going ahead and activating with a nice esports lounge. There you have Rocket League, you have Mario Kart, you even have some NCAA. I do see Baylor being represented, so shout out to Oso Esports, aka the Bears, for making sure that we're all acclimated. Speaking about acclimation and making sure that we're representing the Baylor Bears